Thank you. Thank you, Frazier. Good afternoon, gentlemen. I'm Raghav Nookala. I'm the AVP for Cloud Adobe Solutions. I help a lot of our customers as a transformation architect, and I particularly am a technology geek myself. It's an honor to be the moderator of this session. And as you know, the CPG space has gone through a major transformational change thanks to, I don't know, I can't even say thanks to the pandemic, but we have adapted to this unprecedented pandemic. And then we have dealt with the disruptions in the supply chain, thanks to the lockdown, social distancing norms. And then we have witnessed a major shift in the consumer behaviors, right? E-commerce breaking the ceiling and survived. We just survived the dwindling store walk-ins. So in this panel discussion, we'll be focusing on different aspects of the CPG business. And we'd like to hear your perspectives on the current state and what your vision is and how things are going to be in the future and what our colleagues need to be prepared for. And with that, I thank you once again for being part of the panel, gentlemen. So my first question is on the digital enterprise. The world, as we know, the pandemic has changed quite a bit. And the direct customer is probably the mantra today. And the demand is this is demanding a rapid pace of adoption. So in this context, sir, how would you define a modern digital enterprise and what are the attributes of a truly modern digital enterprise? I'll direct this question to Mr. Ramasubramaniam. As a head of IT, where do you see and how do you define digital enterprise, sir?
Thanks for having me here. First of all, I hope all are doing good and healthy. In the last 2 years, we have seen that the customer behavior, expectations, the necessity of the customer have changed. So we as an organization, we have understood and in fact, we have also forecasted and predicted some of the behaviors and we have put on the strategy accordingly. So let us get into what has changed in the last 2 years. Let us say when COVID has got into this world. So the user has become more and more information savvy, knowing about the products that is required for him. And the customer has, he wants the contactless operations. And also he wants to make use of the digital channels for payments as well as understanding about the products. And he has more and more touch points to understand about the products. So these are all some of the expectations or the behaviors of the customer. As an industry where we have multiple touch points with the customer on the CPG space, we have to change the way how we are doing. It's not going to be more and more on physical in nature. It is going to be digital in nature. So customer, when there is no lockdown, walk into the store and understands about the various products and have the experience on the store. And now it has changed that it had the new stories at each one of the home. So the information should be available at their doorstep. And also more and more on self-service in nature, the personalization in nature. And when we are talking about that, our touch points, especially the customer, we oriented towards that and we have moved online. And when customer is expecting the information and products and services, it should be available in all the channels, whether it is the retail channel or it is an online channel. It's a uniform in nature. So we have aligned towards that. This is about the customer, but as a digital enterprise, what attributes we have? So the attributes, it has changed that it's the information should be available for everyone, not only for the customer, even the backend team. So since the information is essential for servicing the customers as well as our partners, the collaboration has changed with respect to the partners. We have aligned with the new age digital systems to service the partners, service the customers, service every stakeholders. When we are talking about that, the value chain has become the complex. The supply networks has become the complex. More and more interconnected systems to crash the lead time in servicing our customers. And whatnot, it's an adaptive ecosystem kind of an environment wherein we have unfamiliar partners getting into our environment and supporting us or facilitating us in servicing the customers. So as a whole, the industry as well as the ecosystem has changed and oriented towards the digital economy. So this is about the variability which we are seeing today.
Thank you, sir. Over to you, Mr. Bhadresh. As a CFO, would like to see your perspective on what digital enterprise is going to be.
Yeah, first of all, let me thank you for inviting me here and share my views, and also thank to my colleagues also to be here to allow me to know their views on the subject. Now, see, basically, the digital enterprise solutions we have been using since long at Symphony, and Symphony is always ahead of using the IT technology since several years. When SAP was not available on internet, we were using the other locally developed software through web, and also we implemented the same in our subsidiaries in Mexico long back, about 10 years before, and I was also part of that team. So basically, we have been using all kind of latest technologies for all kind of applications in our company. And so digitization, and of course post COVID, we have accelerated the pace of using the digital technologies in most of the cases. In many of the latest technologies we have been using, and at present we are also planning to implement RPA. So this is on one part. Now, just also let me tell something about how we acted during the COVID lockdown period. So when the lockdown was announced for the first time in India on 20th of March 2020, even after that, even during the lockdown of about nearly 2 months, we could work from home almost for about 10 to 11 hours a day. And working from home is a very big experience for entire team at in my department, the corporate affairs, because it was the year-end activity, and audit was also taking place. Everything was virtually being done, including the physical stock verification we could do virtually by the Zoom application, by sending somebody at our plant and the auditor attending from their home. So everything is now possible virtually, and which we all have come to know that nothing stops, nothing ever stops, even if it is COVID, even if it is anything else. We are able to do anything, everything virtually through the means of all kind of digital solutions. And we have fortunately SAP S/4HANA, not only in our India HO, but in all our 4 global subsidiaries in Mexico, China, Australia, USA. All the locations are on S/4HANA, so which has helped tremendously, and seamlessly we could do all the activities without any interruption at all. So basically, this is something which is quite helpful. And now basically, again now coming to the expectations from the IT. Of course, IT is also one of my reporting. The reporting IT head also reports to me. So basically, what we expect and what we continuously do from our IT function is to be on up to date on the information track, and always use the latest available things. And we have implemented very recently, about past 3 to 4 years, we have implemented BI also, and we have been using the BI directly data from SAP, and it's on our dashboard. Everything is available. So I think this is something which is a very good example of digitization and maximum use of digital technologies all across.
Thank you, Mr. Bhadresh. And over to you, Mr. Mudit. As a CIO and VP of IT, I would like to see your perspective as well. Let's hear your perspective.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks to NTT Data and thanks to DNB for having me on the panel. My peers have been commenting on, how the pandemic has changed the way organizations have been working and how digitalization has been adopted, in their organizations. I think our story is no very different from that. But to your question, what really defines a digital enterprise? What should be, the traits or characteristics of a digital enterprise? I think, whether we've reached there or not reached there, I think the important elements of, an organization being a digital enterprise, I think the first one is the culture, right? I would look at it as a culture. Does the organization really think in a digital way? What that means is that whenever you're trying to do something, are you thinking technology? Are you thinking digital first? Are you saying, can I adopt technology? How do I, improve the efficiency in a process? Can I maybe, automate too many processes? You have technologies like solutions like RP, etc. So I think the first one is really the cultural element. Does the leadership of the organization think digitally? Does the leadership think in terms of technology? If that is there, I think the organization is towards, being a digital enterprise or a digital organization. Secondly, when you're looking at the technology landscape that is available to you, are you looking at it from a perspective saying, okay, this is my process, and then how do I tailor my technology to it? Or are you saying, okay, there are tools available, there are technologies available, maybe I need to tweak my processes, maybe I need to tweak the way I work and align to the way, technology works and makes my processes, makes my organization even more efficient and effective from what it is today. I think that would be another element of, or a characteristic when you look at an organization and say that yes, it's a digital enterprise. One thing which data that is being generated, representing a CPG organization or a manufacturing organization, we have tons and tons of data that gets generated through our transaction systems, and even which is outside of our transaction system, be it an ERP or whatever. How well are you able to utilize that data? How well are you able to analyze that data? Is it giving you the insights that you really want? I mean, a CPG organization, is typically dependent on two elements the way I look at it. One is really your supply chain and the distribution and manufacturing, all the components of supply chain. How efficiently is that working? And two, how well do you really understand your customer? I mean, do you really know what your customer wants, what the customer is looking for? And given the way things have changed, and and they have changed overnight, the preferences have changed. The way people look for, the attributes in the products, the way they look for services, that has changed drastically. So, are you able to use all of that data, assimilate that data, come out with your insights, come out with your offerings? I think if you're able to do a lot of this, then you really are truly digital enterprise. Whether you've actually been able to achieve all of it is a different perspective, different thought. But are you in that journey? I think that will define whether you are a digital enterprise. That's the way I perceive a digital organization.
Super. Thank you, Mr. Mudit. Thank you. And then great messages, right? Think digital and be cognizant and embrace the latest and embrace a culture of adoption and consume, figure out a way to consume large volumes of data and make sure you're able to make decisions based on the latest and greatest, because the pace at which the data is getting generated is tremendous. And this is where keeping abreast of the data is going to be one of the paramount importance when it comes to digital enterprise. Great messages. Now, my next topic is going to be on customer experience. So we all have seen the internet and smartphone penetration triggered a spurt in the e-commerce and mobile channels. And in this morning, our MD Sanjeev was talking about the true digitization is not replicating the brick and mortar stores, but to reimagine business processes with customer in the center. So in this context, my question is, how can CPG businesses enhance the customer experience and innovation through adaptive and intelligent solutions. So this time I would like to start with Mr. Innovation, Ritesh Chaudhari ji, as a head of IT and innovation. Would like to hear your views, sir.
Thank you, Raghav. Good afternoon, everybody, and thanks for inviting me and giving me this opportunity to share my views on this topic here. Before I jump onto the question, let's understand what's the consumer behavior. How has that been evolving over the period? Yeah. Before this whole digitalization had started, the consumer, for buying any goods, the consumer would be happy to go down to the market and pick up the goods and the monthly groceries and come back to home. But today, thanks to technology, the consumer has evolved to become lazy. Yeah, and it continues to do so. And what the consumer is asking for is not, convenience. They are asking for convenience, demanding convenience rather, and they are looking for experiences. Yeah. So if my daughter says, could you please arrange me some pizza for the evening for dinner? Maybe I'll go for Swiggy, Zomato and quickly order. But if she comes back and asks me, Dad, can we go and cook some pizza together today? I would be happy because that's giving me the experience. Yeah. And that's how the whole consumer behavior has evolved. And with that, technologies continue to evolve, and we also need to continue to evolve technologies to meet this consumer expectations. So now imagine a millennial sitting in his couch watching the T20 match. Now suddenly he says, come on, let me order for some pizza. One is he'll go to the Zomato app and or Swiggy app and order for something. But can we as technologists, can we not enable, and it's there nowadays, that Alexa, could you please arrange me my favorite pizza for the evening? Yeah, that's it. And Alexa would ensure that you get your routine pizza, whatever you order for every time, along with whether it's Coke or Pepsi, whatever is your favorite, it will come down to your place. And that's what is the new technologies and innovations leading to. And whoever is able to do that, they keep on winning and keep on winning the consumer heart and get their brand loyalty for yourself. The other thing which has evolved over the period is also the new business models. That's where, again, innovation plays a very important role. Again, the consumer is not looking for products, but possibly services. Yeah, so laundry as a service. Yeah, we did some experimentation around it, and it has come out very, very strongly as a requirement that yes, consumers are now not looking for buying the washing powder, detergent. Can somebody go collect the clothes and provide laundry as a service, shoe cleaning as a service, end to end? And that is shaping up well. So those new business models is again playing a major role, both in terms of challenging the innovators, and the innovations, they are again challenging the old business models. So it goes hand in hand. The other thing which, again, with this new business models is the direct to consumers. So if your Amazon application, it would automatically come back and say, can I go and order for sugar in the kitchen? It's a monthly routine. Or you want some shampoo in the bathroom, it's a monthly routine. So direct to consumer, possibly the consumer brands can directly go and send the material, send the goods to the consumer. So that helps to retain the customer brand loyalty, because customer is looking for the convenience again. Why should I go and keep ordering the same stuff every time? It's a mundane job for him. So if there is some convenience added onto it, and this particular brand is bringing me that convenience, I'm happy with it. I'll stick to that brand. Yeah. So that is again the new things which is evolving, and of course the artificial intelligence and all. That is completely. I mean, everything is data driven. It's the new gold mine, new oil, whatever you say. It's like that. So how can you come with very hyper local marketing campaigns, sales campaigns, which is targeted very precisely to the end customer, right at the time when the customer is about to make a decision. So when you are watching the T20 match and Domino's comes with a scheme at that point of time, possibly the Domino's would win up the against the competition. So it's like that. So with that as a message, what I'll say is we as innovators, we need to continuously challenge the business and the existing models. And we also need to adapt ourselves to the new consumer behavior and how the business comes back and says, guys, can you do this? So it's a mutual relationship which we have to work as partners. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you very much. So over to you, Mr. Ramasubramaniam. We'd like to hear from you on your perspectives.
Yeah. So brand loyalty, it cuts across, it starts in the entire life cycle journey of the customer, from buying the product or pre-buying behavior for the customers. It starts there. So in assessing the product and also what product need they have, and also understanding exactly how it is going to work for them. For example, on getting influenced with some cooking show and some new food stuff that is getting attracted, the customer's eagerness starts there to buy the product. So the loyalty starts there in the life cycle, and it continues until buying, as well as post-buying, as well as planning for the next buying. So it doesn't stop there. And also this engagement, we would like to continue not only on the buying behavior, and also we are planning to extend this, including up to the retirement of the product. For example, the customer would have bought a product from us. It would have undergone various stages, servicing. It includes after sales service and planning for the next buying, similar products or other products. So there is an engagement that continues with the customer. We are not seeing this brand playing not only at the buying level, but also engaging the customer at their kitchens as well as at their homes in everyday's life. So we are understanding more and more, since the customer behavior is changing, their expectations are changing. So we have various elements to understanding the customers and using the digital as a platform to understand this. For example, it could be websites, it could be social media like Facebooks, or it could be something on Twitter kind of an environment, and also WhatsApp. Now we got into WhatsApp so that we can understand about the customer needs, their expectations in the entire life cycle journey of the customer. Whenever they start and whatever they want to continue until they continue with us. So there are various data fit points we are engaging, and we have several programs now with new set of technology elements to understand more and more about their needs and service them in a better way. So this engagement is not only on the monetization, but also more and more on the service. For example, a customer getting attracted, a North Indian one getting attracted to cook a sambar or something, they want to make a idli or rava idli kind of a thing. Or a South Indian would like to do some dal makhani kind of a thing. So how to do that? So there are various platforms for them to get engaged with us and then understand and then start experimenting in their home. So we will guide them through the digital medium, and then that happens. So there are various touch points we have with respect to this cooking. And as you know that more and more cooking happens today, healthy cooking happens with people are spending more time on the kitchens. They have abundant time to experiment. So we have various programs towards that to improve the brand loyalty as well as the touch points with the customers. So that is happening. And in the coming days, we have various new technology initiatives, cuts across chatbots, cuts across our websites. In fact, we are modernizing our website with latest chatbots and as well as interfaces with various social media platforms, so that they get the rich contents, and also virtually they are getting some kind of tutors to help them on their experimentation journey in their kitchen. So through these activities, we feel that we plan to enhance our brand loyalty.
Awesome messages, sir. In fact, I think there was a focus on convenience. Maybe think about subscriptions, think about technology. And the great point that you touched upon, sir, is the pride of ownership and engage the customer, not just for selling, but throughout the life cycle of the products. Great messages. And in fact, I was one of those people who got influenced by those cookery shows, and I learned a lot of things during this pandemic. So then my next question is about the innovation and rapid prototyping. So we are witnessing a lot of major pressure on the brand loyalties with a lot of choices to the customers. And then there is a need for us to introduce products at an unprecedented price. It could be a minor variants, or maybe understanding to the basically understand the new reality. So in this context, my question is, how are CPG businesses dealing with this diversity in audience? Because we have a transitionary generation, meaning when I look at my family, I have my dad, whose thought process is slightly different from mine, and versus my son, who has a completely different thought process. Now there is a diverse audience just in one family. Now at the CPG level, we have a lot more, right? And then how can you build very realistic and virtual prototypes that help the businesses in a very quick fashion? So I would like to divert this question to Mr. Mudit Agarwal as a CIO and VP IT. How would you address this, sir?
Thank you, Mr. Nookala, for the question. Very interesting question. When you look at from a virtualization, virtual prototyping, etc., there are so many opportunities that present before us, and especially when you're talking of a CPG business. The way I understand CPG, one of the primary things, and especially, like Mr. Ramasubramaniam was talking about the experience and, the preferences and the consumer or the customer choices. Traditionally, CPG has, tried to gain insights when launching a new product or a service by, doing trials. And those have been, maybe in a smaller market, you do a pilot, you do a trial, and then you maybe expand to a larger market and a further larger market before you commercially launch the product. Can technology or can virtual prototypes come to, help you there? I don't know. Maybe, you can use some AI-based models, some ML-based models where you have these preferential data or the learnings which have already been captured in your models. And then you do some trials of the product before you launch out through these models. And then, yes, of course, there could be variations when you go actually enter the real world. But that would be one way of looking at it. We talk of digital twins, very heavily in today's times. Can you start using those digital twins, when you're looking at virtualization, when you're looking at prototyping? Maybe that can come to rescue. Another thing, and since right now in my current assignment, I'm, in a packaging industry. Packaging is one area which actually is a very, very, I would say, an art as well as a science when it comes to products. Because that is what the consumer sees when he looks at the product. And can you look at prototyping packaging? Again, there are solutions available. There are a lot of design tools available. Can you do all of those prototypes there? Can you virtualize those prototypes there? So I think the point is that yes, virtualization can be done at whichever level you want to look at. Even from the perspective of, when you're looking at launching it into various different kind of channels, especially, like Mr. Ritesh talked about the D2C, because that's a channel which has opened up and which has opened up vastly. Earlier, you had what you used to call the traditional distribution channel, traditional trade, and then the modern trade, and so on and so forth, which was very well understood by the industry. But with D2C coming in, directly reaching the customer, how do you build those prototypes? Now, no longer are those days when you say, if I have to make a product available in the remotest part of the country I'm seeing right now for the moment, then I have to depend only on my traditional distribution channel of a warehouse and the C&FA and the distributor and the retailer, etc., etc. I mean, you have the likes of e-retailers or the distributors who can pick up a product from your warehouse or from your mother warehouse and take it directly to the consumer, be it on Amazon or Flipkart or the Swiggies and the Zomatos. All these are actually taking a product to the remotest part of the country. So this is where your virtualization, there's immense virtualization which has already happened, which you can do. Similarly, you can do a lot of prototyping on your supply chain automation. Can you do that? Can you look at it holistically? Whether we like it or not, we might want to talk big things, but somehow the sad realities of many organizations are wherein you still have data silos. You still have silos in the way they work. Processes don't cut across. You still work as functions or departments. So the data doesn't flow seamlessly. The data definitions don't flow seamlessly. The data dictionaries are not, real coherent. I mean, I'm talking about, the real nitty-gritties. But that is where I think, a lot of digital technologies, prototyping, virtualizations can come to the rescue. That's how I look at it.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Great message, right? I think tap into the unconventional data sources. Don't really stick to conventional. And the innovations, embrace all the innovations like last mile delivery, whatever those things are. Great message, sir. So the next question is very much near and dear to me because I own the area of practice, and especially the pressure that has been built on our supply chains, especially in food industry, and increased hygiene and social distancing norms, right? In this case, I think it is putting a lot of pressure on our productivity and the cost. So in this context, my question is, how can CPG businesses derive operational resilience, and while keeping in check the productivity and the cost? Because now there is a lot of pressure. Now we need to make sure we have end-to-end visibility. How do we make sure the productivity and cost are in check? So I'd like to start with Mr. Ramasubramaniam. Sir, your take on this.
Thanks a lot for this question. So far, we were talking about the external world, that is the customer behavior and other areas of the value chain. But this is very essential for every organization when we are talking about the operational excellence. If you see that in the new digital world, industries like us are under severe pressure since we have multiple competitive environments to face with. So cost pressures are there. So cost pressures is one of the major aspects for every progressive organizations like us. When we are talking about the operational excellence, there are various avenues to bring in the excellence journey. So we always believe in lean. Lean is not only for manufacturing, it is everywhere. If you see that cuts across the profit centers or the service centers or the cost centers kind of functions within our organization, lean is practiced everywhere. We very strongly believe in the lean. And when we are talking about the operational excellence, it's a time for us to review. Change is everywhere. So we have to first believe on the change management. And today we have a new set of tools. I could see that RPA was one of the areas where there were more emphasis happening in bringing in the productivity. Now bots are available everywhere to support every workforce and also every function, business functions or the service functions. And RPA is one among that. And today, very happily or successfully, we have launched several programs towards bringing in self-service. So none of the workforce are dependent on IT to get an information. So we very happily I can announce that the information is available at every level according to their role. And this information is available with respect to whatever the privacy as well as the governance that is essential. And analytical tools are available, so people can cut, slice the data and see and take the decisions. So self-service is one area where it brings in the productivity. So there are various technologies available today to bring in the self-service. That is one important aspect. And coming to assessment of redundancy as well as duplication. So this is very essential for every organization. We have done audit on this area and we identified various redundancies, and of course the process has to be shortened. It cannot be more and more steps which were happening earlier. Now go-to-market scenario calls for shortening the process lead times. So we have done that, and then we have used the automation everywhere. And also this automation has helped us to compress the lead time. You can imagine that to deliver the goods with 7 days lead time, now it is happening with 1 day lead time. So that's the power of automations, whether it is within the systems or within the interconnected systems. You have various tools available today. RPA is one area, and you can bring in that. And as I have mentioned, the dependence on IT team. Now today, citizen developers are being practiced everywhere. The community of practice has the citizen developers. So small scale automations, we let the user departments with the anchor from every user department who can scale up the automations for them, and then this is addressed. So there is no dependency on IT team. And when it comes to the personalization, we have a standard practice that the information will be available. Whoever wants to standardize the information within their function, they can do that. And you have all the data points available to them. So when we are talking about SAP HANA, or when we are talking about other applications, this personalization we are actually promoting, so that the dependence on IT is reducing. So IT can focus on more and more creating more value to the user departments. Am I right? So these are all some of the areas where we have focused upon, and that is bringing in process excellence as well as the operational resilience. When I'm touching about operational resilience, we have to have more focus on the security and governance of new age requirements. That's very requirement. So what we are doing is we are identifying each one of the champions in every function. First, we will train them on the new age security and governance requirement. So they will spread, they will cascade to other members. So this is bringing in new age operational resilience. Of course, without this, the organizational resilience is not possible. So these are some of the areas. Yeah.
Great perspective, sir. Over to you, Mr. Bhadresh. Would like to hear your perspective too, please.
Yeah. So whatever Mr. Ramasubramaniam has told, I think that makes sense, and we all would like to endorse his views. Now, see, basically, when we talk about the data security, what he touched upon, see, that is something very, very keen, very, very important in this nowadays. I was yesterday just going through one report which is published by World Economic Forum, and that says that the risk parameters of variety of worldwide, whatever are the risk parameters are as compared to the IT field, those risks are now at the highest level, and that may be because we have across the different countries, the transactions are happening in basically thousands of transactions are happening every day, and there are cases even in our company also we have faced about 2-3 years before. There are cases that the remittance which has gone up gone abroad has gone to some different accounts. So basically, it is because of the emails are being snatched or emails are being altered by some intermediaries, and this kind of threat has to be removed. We have taken various steps in this regard, and I think since then no such event has occurred. So basically, this is one very important area, the data security, and of course, more and more digitization will pose more and more threat of this kind. So this is one. Secondly, with regard to the branding which you have been talking about, so going digital and going through the digital marketing campaign and all. So the consumers are having now variety of choices. Earlier, what used to happen that the consumer used to go to the nearby shops or nearby places where he can buy something. Now here's the choices from world over. Means Amazon is offering something, other websites are offering something. So even if you are going for D2C, you will be able to offer your own products. Whatever limited variety of products you have, you will be offering that. And previously the choice with the consumer were limited. Now here's variety of choices from world across, right? So basically branding or approaching the customer with the right set of products which appeals to him to buy is a challenge. At Symphony, fortunately, we have variety of cooler models, and earlier the number of coolers models which we are having about 20 to 25. Now we have about 75 different models. So basically, variety of choices we have given, and all these are available on our website also. The consumer can place the order online, buy the cooler online. So everything we have made available, and I think that has made a lot of help in improving our sales. So basically, this is something which is the need of the hour, and we have to be doing variety of things to not to allow the customer to go somewhere else, and to ensure that his loyalty to our brand continues.
That's great message, sir. I think we talked about a lot of automation, and I really like the concept of the citizen developers and how we should be dealing with newer competition. Thank you very much. And the next question is related to sales performance. So we know we have witnessed a huge increase in e-commerce, and maybe I think Mr. Bhadresh touched upon the online marketplaces. The reach of the market has expanded. While we are seeing other competitors coming into our markets also expanded into other areas as well. So this is what is actually demanding a lot of efficiencies in the transportation, last mile delivery. These are the things that seem to be helping. But again, I see there is a lot of opportunity for expansion in that area, which is probably going to wipe out some of the conventional boundaries that we had. And in this context, my question is, what are the keys to complete the sales cycle quicker? And when it comes to sales cycle, I think I want to borrow the idea from Mr. Ramasubramaniam. We are not really thinking about the sale. We are thinking about the end-to-end experience, right? And while we reduce the inventory costs and stocks, because now we have expanded market space, how do we make sure we don't really stock up every place to provide the last mile delivery? With that, I would like to call upon Mr. Innovation, Ritesh ji, to provide his expert insights, please.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry,
I hope. Yeah.
Sure, Raghav. So it's all about supply chain, how I see. Yeah. So the market dynamics are continuously evolving, and how we are able to evolve our supply chain with it. It's all about it. So how we are able to improve the accuracy of our demand planning and demand forecasting by using, say, artificial intelligence and various statistical models which have recently evolved around that. So when you are launching a new product, in CPG industry, that's a very, very challenging thing. Whenever you are launching a new product, new brand, something like that, uh, at the back end, a lot of market research has gone, but still, finally, when the product is in the market, sometimes you overproduce it or you underproduce it. So there are a lot of models nowadays, say like things like the geographical territory in Europe, our laundry products there, and the accuracy for new product launch was like almost 60-65%. Even if you reach that, it was supposed to be good. So but when we did this proof of concept with IBM Watson at the back end, our accuracy levels certainly improved. We were able to reach almost like 90%, 80 to 90% of accuracy levels for even new product launch. So that's how the technology is certainly helping our supply chain in improving the accuracy. Then the second thing about supply chain is how we improve the supply chain transparency. Yeah, so how we are able to give the decision makers, the sales people, the supply planners, the business people, uh, our logistics partners, our distributors, the end-to-end transparency for our products in terms of say how much is the inventory levels at various points of delivery, and how we are able to utilize those information on a real-time basis, or on an ASAP basis. I'll not say real time, but are we able to go and capture things like these secondary sales? Earlier it was monthly, long back. Now it has become daily. Now we are talking of tertiary sales. So from the distributor to the end retailer. So what is the visibility in terms of and the transparency of the tertiary sales at the retail outlet level, or at the modern in the large outlets in modern trade? So what is the transparency level of inventory on a daily basis? That's what is important for us to plan. Then the third thing is the supply chain agility. So how we are able to quickly adopt the ground realities, and react, and sometimes not only react but also predict ourselves for whatever is happening on ground. Yes, so again, things like and here when we are saying being reactive or being proactive, again technology is playing important role. You are enabling for tertiary sales, for secondary sales, our salespeople, small mobile apps, right, which are like very handy to use, and people are very well adapted. If you go and empower all these people who are, say, in the rural community, right, these who are selling products, CPG products, yeah, from the telas, you enable them with those mobile apps. You will get that visibility. You will be able to have that sort of built in, that sort of an agility in your processes. You are you able to have some consumer IoT uh, devices to capture again these type of so IoT you have already started using in your logistics when the truck movements are happening and all, but are you able to use that to actually capture the real-time inventory at the tertiary level? I think that is one of the opportunity which we as an industry can work upon.
That's super. That's great insight. In fact, we have been working with some of our customers to get real-time visibility to what is on the shelves, so that we can accurately predict what to send to the customer. And there have been so many innovations in this area. Thank you for shedding light on this, Mr. Ritesh. My next question is, again, this is related to winning. There is a lot of data that is getting generated. I think a lot of our speakers talked about it. And there are a lot of privacy concerns as well, right? Again, there is a lot of regulations and compliance is on the rise. And then keeping data secure and reducing the data footprint, there have been big challenges. That has been one of our focus. I think a few of our speakers already alluded to that fact. So my question here is, how can CPG businesses drive innovation while reducing their data footprint and ensuring security of the data? This question, I would like to invite Mr. Bhadresh to respond on this. As a CFO, I think he has, and managing IT, he has responsibilities on both sides. Over to you, sir.
No, very,
Yes.
very important question, very pertinent in these days, and we all are facing this as a threat, as a challenge, as a risk. So I'm sure basically there are no easy answers to these questions. Everybody is doing one way or the other something, and then they are able to face something else. So basically it is of course, we are taking the help of our big four, who are our consultants, the Deloitte and the PwC and all other. So basically, as far as the data security is concerned, we have kind of regular analysis of our systems processes from variety of aspects. Not only from the information security, or not only from the hardware security, or not only from the software security, but including the authorizations, including the external threats of hacking and all. So variety of things we have been constantly analyzing, almost minimum twice a year. And we always get a detailed report and take actions on them. So this is what we have, and of course we always get some kind of new suggestions every time. So our IT people will say that no, everything is implemented now, do not worry, and then something new will come up, and we will say that no, what about this? So always it is like that, and it is a constant process. It cannot be done once and we cannot forget it, right? So it's a constant, continuous thing to be done, and we have in-house internal audit department, we have external internal auditor, we have external agency who also verifies this, and over and above all these three, we also have the statutory auditors who are the Deloitte and their IT team, the IT expert people. So those people are also advising us on this at least once a year, like that. So basically we continuously do this, and I think that is the only way we have to look at it. So this is one part. Second part, which you talked about was the data privacy. Now, see, basically, whatever information the customer is providing to us is by way of we have devised a form called KBAB. So that is know better your business partner. So basically, it is like KYC. So it is our internally developed form which we send to all customers, all vendors, and they have to fill up the form. And after that form is filled up, then only we open the vendor or customer account in our SAP. Right. So it is a signed document with all supportings, with the supporting of the PAN card, GST number, all other relevant things has to come to us, and then only we open the account. And once the account is opened, then nobody can change it. Right. So, and if it is required to be changed, there are authorization levels. So this way we ensure that the data are safe, secure, and it goes to the right level. So this is one part. Second part is of course, the data privacy of the customers. We do not solicit any personal data of any customer. So I think that is not applicable to our company. Over and above this, I would like to say that the digitization, the systems, what we want to look upon, and what we want to strive as as a truly digital enterprise. It should be smart, secure, sustainable. It should be efficient. It should be economical. It should be ecological. It should be instant, integrated, and intelligent. It should be flexible. It should be foolproof. It should be fundamentally strong. It should be global. It should be generation next. It should be glorified. It should be sustainable. It should be scalable. It should be safe and secure. It should be variable. It should be volume capable. It should be value accretive. It should be it should provide a choice to the variety of choice to the customer with comfort and with convenience, and it should be quick and quality oriented. I think this will summarize all what we want from the IT system. That's all.
Absolutely, sir. You actually covered the entire ground. Thank you very much. So with that being said, we just have one last question, which is related to sustainability. With all the buzz that we hear about the greenhouse emissions and the need for preserving the environment, and I hear like leave it the way you got it to your next generations. So how can CPG businesses manage sustainability through end-to-end support? This question I would like to point to Mr. Ritesh.
Raghav, sustainability has one of the core values for us as Henkel as well. And it starts right from the product design phase. Yeah, so it's looked into totality and in a wholesome manner. When I say product design, we have in our product R&D department, in the product design team, we have KPIs associated with sustainability as well for the new products which are being introduced. So R is the new design sustainable enough? So rather than say using, sometimes we are into adhesives and chemicals as well, besides FMCG. And there we have water-based adhesives rather than solvent-based adhesives. Yeah, so those type of things, KPIs are there. Now, when we talk of technology, 3D printing has emerged a very, very strong technology in terms of product design. Less wastage, quick delivery. It's good for the business, and of course, it sustains. It provides sustainability because the wastage is less. The over design which shapes up out of it, it is again sustainable designs which come out very quickly. You need not have to. So the whole cycle has sometimes reduces from 3 months to just some couple of weeks, and that's it. And you can try different materials as well, say for the packaging materials and all, and that's where 3D printing and the additive manufacturing has come into place. The other one is after the product has been designed, how do you produce it? Yeah, again, how do we reduce the wastage and quality rejections? And that's where Industry 4.0 plays a very, very important role, very important. And that has been our personal experience at Henkel as well. We supply to Toyota, and we implemented Industry 4.0 in our factory at Chennai, which supplies to Toyota. And after we implemented it, we were able to supply to them consistently without any quality issues for 6 to 8 months. Every batch was a golden batch for them.
Wow.
And they were so happy that they brought almost like 50, 60 their top vendor partners to visit our factory and see how we are able to deliver quality by implementing Industry 4.0. Yeah, so that and after that we have continuously been very, very using Industry 4.0 for quality. Said 2020 and 2021 as well, we have won the Golden Peacock Award for quality as Henkel India. So that creates a benchmark, and I mean, you also feel satisfied that yes, with the help of technology, we are able to provide the value to the customer and to the company itself.
So it is
The
by Institute of Directors. Golden
Sorry?
Peacock Award is by Institute of Directors.
That's right. That's right.
Correct. I am also a member of that.
Nice.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. So that's what we one, the health and sustainability, and then of course comes okay. Am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. So then comes the product supply chain again, where we have the technology being used for optimizing our entire supply chain value chain, reduce the storage, optimize the logistics, certainly helps a lot in our sustainability goals. And then comes the product support. So for consumer durables, yeah, and even for, I mean, some of these like UFLEX, where Mudit has been working, yeah, so we supply the adhesives which goes into their manufacturing process. Now, if that manufacturing process, if they are facing any issue, technical issue, suppose some bubbles are coming in between their packaging layers, then one way is that you go and stop the line. The other way is, can you provide a remote technical customer service to them, with which we have developed some sort of a wearable computer which is voice operated. Wear it on your helmet. The operator can wear it on the helmet and give a direct video streaming of the process line to the technical customer service at the backend. And you can avoid the line stoppage. You can install the plant and machinery, your own production plant and machinery issues, you can get them resolved. And also in the consumer durables, suppose, and that's what I see can be a future. So you have some issue on your washing machine or your refrigerator and all. People don't want to go through manuals and do self-service. What best they can do is stream the video and get the guidance from the remote support over the mobile, and they can solve a lot of things by themselves.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So those are the things which can be there to promote sustainability.
Awesome. These are great insights, right? And congratulations on winning the award. I can certainly see the glow on your face when the pride when you talked about it. Like, I would like to wrap this up with by just summarizing what all the things that we discussed about. We discussed about the backbone, the need for cost control, and the need for process automations. We talked about the technology, sustainability, sales performance. Like when I put all these things in perspective, and when I look at SAP RISE, then primarily the RISE is trying to connect all these dots. Right? It is trying to connect all these dots and present a holistic solution in a way a customer can consume it in a much effective manner and get a quick ROI. And thank you for all the panelists, for all the expert opinions, and I really loved hearing. I did make some notes for myself. Thank you very much.